Yeah, let's go.
Tell me whenever. All right. Welcome everybody. My name is Athena. If you guys don't know me, I know a few of you so far, but those who don't know me, like I said, my name is Athena. I've been, investing in crypto since COVID time, so 2019 ish time. I didn't really get into TA or research or anything like that until literally probably May, right? I was tired of losing money. I was always buying the tops, selling the bottoms, et cetera, et cetera. So I was like, okay, well, let me learn as much as I can about TA. So I was with a group with some of these lovely people here. And yeah, we just kind of learned together. I did my own thing. I would go to, YouTube. I'd read books about TA, et cetera, et cetera. It's just a process of pretty much trial and error, right? At this point in my trading currently, I'm pretty confident in my trading so far. Depending on if it's leverage, because I do leverage, I also do spot. My success rate would kind of vary between like 75 to 85, depending on what's happening on the market conditions, and then spot is higher because it's spot. So yeah, I'll go through pretty much how I look into the trades, how I get into certain trades, what I use, et cetera, et cetera. So let's see. So I'm pretty much a leverage trader mostly. Um, and then I do spot. So 10% of my portfolio is pretty much for leverage, and the rest is for spot, essentially. So when I look into a certain coin, right, we want to make sure it's a liquid coin, right? I don't like to trade illiquid coins because there's no point, right? You want to make sure that your trade gets filled at all times. So the indicators that I do use are the EMAs, RSI, MACD. So I use these for confirmation, um, right? I don't really use these to get into a trade essentially, but I use these pretty much for the higher time frames, the daily, weekly, monthly, 4 hours, etc. I don't like to use the EMAs on like the shorter time frames. But my trading strategy, pretty much, I'm a scalper. Especially for leverage, I'm not in a trade for too long. But for my swing trades, it's usually with spot. All right, so let's look at Luna. So Luna's kind of been my favorite coin to trade overall because it's been pretty much respecting TA for the most part. So what I like to look for, especially for Luna, is it would do this same kind of pattern, right? Every time it breaks out, it usually comes back and retests previous highs. So once that happens and we got a successful retest, especially on the higher time frames, I like to get into the trade. So I've been pretty much scalping Luna for the longest time. Now I use, let me get rid of some indicators here. Now I don't really use support and resistances too much. I use zones, or you can call them order blocks, or whatever you want to really call them. So we like to look into zones, right, when there's respect to so we want to see something like this, right? We want to see these areas, a breakout, a retest, and that is a zone, right? Because for support and resistances, usually one line, it won't usually go to that specific line all the time. So I like to have zones, and that's usually where I would kind of DCA into a trade. So we got one here, right? That's been respected. For Luna, let's make this a little bit bigger. All right. We got zones pretty much all around. So you see every time Luna breaks out, usually comes back, retest previous highs. Now we got another zone right here. Now I'm going to go down to the shorter time frames. And also, if you guys have any questions, just put them in the chat. I'll answer those. All right, so I like to usually look into the daily and then the 4 hours for my zones. See that we have one right here. And we got a zone right here as well. Now, I don't like to put too many zones because then it gets just cluttery. But we can see pretty much Luna respects these zones pretty nicely, right? Retest, 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 rejection. So this is a strong, it used to be a strong resistance. Now should be a strong support. So that's why I'm expecting Luna to come back down here. And this is where I got some bids down here. So 75, 77. I did take a short position here after we had this failure right here. All right, once we broke back in, I took a short from up here. Now we can see that this is a zone as well. And that was my first take profit. And since we did reject this zone, the next one would be down here. So that would be my second take profit. And then I would take a long hedge just in case for this, for this coin. So Luna has been pretty much the nicest. Oh, wait. There's a question. Will Luna ever reach 5 again? No. I don't think Luna will ever reach $5 again. In my opinion. But anything can happen to this crypto, right? But in my eyes, fundamentally, Luna is such a great coin. But I don't see it coming back down to $5 during the bear market. I mean, I think the least I can see it coming back down is maybe the 20s. But that's reaching it. I don't think we're going below here. I think that ship has sailed. What's the name of the zone trading you use? You can call them order blocks, or I just like to see areas where price is respected and or rejected. So big zones like this, right? Usually if I see something like this, right, this is a very nice confluence zone right here. And this one's important, and so is this one up here. So these would be the most important zones for Luna. And then down here, this zone. It's a little ugly, but it does the job. 20, I'll sell myself for Luna. I would too. If I see a $20 Luna, I'm definitely refinancing my house and buying a big old bag. So that is for Luna. What I also like to do is, I'm a big fan of trend lines. I know people shit on trend lines all the time, but they work. They work. So we want to see what kind of trend we're on, either if it's a uptrend or downtrend. I guess it wouldn't work here, but we'll put it right here. Now, if we look into, I like patterns. I like to trade patterns. So usually I look for a breakout or break back into the zone or a retest. So here we had this nice little wedge here from Luna. As we can see, it's been respecting it until it broke down, retests, and breakdown. So this is when I told everybody, hey, okay, maybe cut down a little bit Luna if you're already up. We'll buy it lower. That's exactly what happened. So I had bids down here that I kind of shared with the community that I'm a part of because of this pattern, right? And the target for this one was, yeah. Usually I don't like targets for these patterns, but that's what I like to see when I trade zones, right? You can call them whatever you want, really, and then patterns. Let's see. And then of course, if I look at the overall health of a coin, I like to look into the higher time frames, so the daily, the weekly. So as we can see, especially with EMAs as well. Let's look at some indicators. So EMAs, I use the 20, 50, 100, 200. You can use whatever you want. Everybody has their own kind of preference. But I like to use these just to see the overall health. So we can see the prices above the EMAs way far off from the EMAs, right? Some of these are all the way down to, the 40s. So this is overall bullish for a coin. Once we break below EMAs, that's when it gets bearish, right? We don't want to see price break below the EMAs. So I love Luna. I love Luna. I love trading Luna. So I usually go through, when I first start off my day or week or whatever, I go through every single coin that I like and or I'm trading. So I have a list here of all the coins on Bybit. I go through each one of these. I usually, set my charts up, look for sort of breakouts, and I like to use alerts a lot. So if I see a pattern, so let's go to a coin that has a pattern. Never mind. But this would be a good example. So you have this nice little trend line that it's been rejecting, right? Reject, reject, reject. So what I like to do is either get in on the breakout and or on the retest. So this is what I expected Atom to do. I had an alert set right here at this trend line, and it's bouncing pretty nicely. But as we know, everything depends on Bitcoin essentially. So when I take my trades, I like to look for breakouts out of patterns or trend lines, and I like to set up alerts. That way, I can go about my day, and if I have an alert, I'll go check out the chart and get into the trade. All right. Does anybody have any questions so far before I look into some of the coins I'm trading? Don't be shy to ask questions, by the way. Atom. Yeah, so I love Atom. I think this is one of the most undervalued, projects out there. People don't give Atom too much credit. So if we look at the Cosmos ecosystem, (262 apps built on Atom, and if we look through some of them, we can see that there's quite a few that are really good, right? That you might already know of. So 262. If Luna is also incorporated into the Cosmos ecosystem, so we got a whole lot. But people don't give Atom too much credit, right? They look into Luna, they look into AVAX, they look into meta coins, but they don't look into Atom. So I think Atom is extremely undervalued. I've been just accumulating Atom since pretty much the tens, since down here. So Atom looks pretty good, right? We had a nice little breakout retest. So I want to see reclaiming of 32 up here. So this is what I'm currently expecting for Atom. It's performing a lot better than some other coins that are, cough, ate up. But I want to see Atom come up here, retest, and then go for the highs up here. So that's what I would like to see. But overall, looks pretty good. It crossed the rate. We had some EMAs cross, and price moves higher, they're going to uncross. So Atom overall, extremely good project that I've been kind of just accumulating through the red. Do you trade Theta? Yeah, Theta is another one that's been just hitting the dirt, man. This one has been taking a beating. So overall, when I look into a certain coin, right, with good fundamentals, I want to see where it's at. These are low risk areas, and this is where I'd buy, right? Mid and high risk. So overall, I still think Theta is undervalued, and $4 and below would be a good zone to buy it, because as we've seen from previous price action, this is a pretty strong support zone here. But what Theta really has to do is break out here. If I get a certain breakout here, then that's going to be very, very good for Theta. But if we look at the EMAs, right, we're so far underneath them, and we rejected this zone up here. So we want to see a retest. But honestly, as we know, everything depends on Bitcoin. So if Bitcoin takes a beating, then we can see us come back down here, and that would be a good time to buy for Theta. Could someone restream? Is the thing full? Stream might be a little full. Yeah, let's look at Rose. So for Rose, I kind of put out this chart a little bit earlier, but I like Rose a lot. I like Rose a lot. So I was able to get into Rose down here, so around 23 cents. You can see it broke out of this beautiful pattern, hit two take profits, and right now it's working to maybe hitting the third take profit, right? At the 40s if Bitcoin kind of abides. But I love Rose. Looks super bullish. As we can see, it's way above the EMAs, right? Way above them. So super, super bullish. So my current zones, right? This is what I would really like to buy. This is where I'd buy a lot. Here, I would go all in. But see, selling my children to buy. I don't think we're gonna get down there, honestly. But yeah, this is what I expected. So I expected it to come back down, retest 34, and then move to the higher areas up here. What duration has worked best? What do you mean by duration? Like how long I hold the coin, or like the time frames I'm looking at when I'm getting into a trade? Does it matter if the chart is linear or log? Not really. I don't usually use log. Sometimes I'll use it if I'm looking at overall, but I don't really use log too much. I know that some people like them in terms of patterns, but I don't really see the point. When you draw your trend lines, do you use wicks or bodies? Wherever I have the most confluence. So usually I use the wicks because price still ended up going there. I know some people don't like to use the wicks, but I like using them because price did go there and reject from that certain point. How long do you hold a coin before taking profit? Depends. I'll hold it for as long as I need if it's hitting take profits. Usually once my full-on strategy is once I get 100%, so 2x my investment, I take out my initial, I let the rest kind of ride. Skyfi said, rather than coin requests, I think it would be good to look at how you determine a coin is worth taking a risk on, how you validate is a healthy chart versus unhealthy chart, your process of reach. Okay. So let's start off with number one. So how do you determine a coin is worth taking a risk on? Well, we want to look into the fundamentals, right? Sometimes I'll get into some coins that are riskier, right? But as long as they have good fundamentals and they have good backers, I'll get into it. But we want to look into the overall health, right? If the chart, like let's look at an unhealthy chart. Unhealthy chart is pretty much a coin that keeps getting lower lows, higher lows, lower lows, higher lows, low lows, higher lows. So this is an unhealthy chart, right? We want to see levels being reclaimed. We want to see some higher lows, higher highs. So when I see a chart like this, I just move on with my day. Now, if we end up, let's say, we make a nice little double bottom. Now that would change my mind, right? So I want to see levels being reclaimed, higher lows, higher highs, right? For me to get in. And or if we have some sort of bullish pattern forming, so the double bottom would be pretty bullish. Inverse head and shoulders would be pretty bullish. If I see a pattern like that, like Bico, for example, this one kind of makes me a little sad because it left without me. So Bico on the shorter time frames, right? This coin just came out. Had an initial dump, of course. All these guys made tremendous amounts of money. Very good coin, really good backers. But their launch was a little funky. So I was looking into the chart and I noticed this nice little inverse head and shoulders here. And I think I was talking about it with Reda as well, or I think it was someone else. But I looked at this and I was like, this is a possible reversal. So you can see here, lower lows, lower lows, lower lows, lower lows, higher low, right? And after it broke out, this would have been the perfect area to get into it. So if I was paying attention, right? I was too busy, but I told people about this, right? If I see something like this, right, where we have a nice little bullish pattern, it breaks out, retests, successful retest, I would get in. And as we can see, EMA's crossed here. And this is on a shorter time frame, so this would have been a nice little swing trade at least. I would have gotten in right here on the retest and held it. And then I would have, looked at some take profit areas, right, for my entry. And I usually use fibs to take profits. So usually I'll take like 10, 20% increments. And as we can see, right, Bico hit the 6.6 or 6.18, whatever, pretty much perfectly and rejected from there. So this is a key zone level that most traders like to take their profits. So this would have been a perfect trade, right? If it was just this, right, if this is all we saw here, right, I looked at this chart and it looked like this, I would say, no, thank you. I'll keep moving. But if a bullish pattern kind of displays, then I would get into it, either on the breakout or the retest. To be safe, depending on the coin, if it's, let's say, Luna, I'll get into it because Luna doesn't like to have retests. But if it's a coin like this, which is riskier, I would get in on the retest. So this would have been a perfect trade. Upside potential, 70%, right? And that's just currently, and it hasn't come back down. So that's for Bico, right? So that's what I like to look for when I look at a trade, essentially. A healthy chart. Yeah, so this became a healthy chart now, right? Didn't used to be, it became one. But I have usually my list of coins that I like to trade here. And then I go through these, see what kind of patterns how they're performing overall, what they're doing in relation to Bitcoin. And then I'll take the trade depending on Bitcoin. But yeah, when I see price above EMA's, higher lows, higher highs, then I'll get into it. Yeah, Bico looks like it's forming a cup and handle. It is. Yeah. So it's weird because Red and I were talking about this, but usually, especially like the newer coins that come out, they tend to form a nice cup and handle usually. But this looks bullish. I didn't even look at it. I was kind of focused on the inverse head and shoulders. But yeah, nice cup and handle. Looks bullish. All right. Your process for researching a coin to see if its fundamentals are good. So basically, this is my process. I did make a post about it. This would be kind of nice to show. If I can find it, let me see. I'll probably have to scroll down. I don't have the exact. It'd be nice to show. But I made a whole little Twitter post about pretty much my process for it, but I'm going to review it in detail. There we go. I'm going to put this in here just for you guys to look back at it. I'll probably add a bunch more stuff to it. But since I was mostly focused on TA, right, I lacked a big part of overall knowledge, right? Because I would get into these coins, even though they didn't have good fundamentals, because I didn't really get the research portion. Oh shit, that's not what we want. The research portion done. But now that I know how to do research and I know what makes a good project and a bad project, now I'm able to look into these coins super easily and understand why they're behaving the way that they do. Because usually if there's like a token unlock, or anything wrong with the ecosystem with the coin, obviously it's not going to perform as well. So that's what I kind of look into. So when I first look into a coin, all right, someone hits me up and it's like, oh, look at this coin. I'm like, all right. So go to coin market cap, right? I'm gonna pull up a coin. And we'll do some research about it. Let's choose a random one. Do you guys have one you want me to look at? If you don't, I'll just pick a random one. Solana, okay. Well, that's too easy though. Solana's already good. Ali, okay, let's look at Ali. I don't know this. Is this it? AI link? Oh, Kadena, man, I made a research report for Kadena. Is this the one you want me to look at? Yeah, that looks bad, man. So right off the bat, right, I look into coin market cap, right? Pull this coin up. Let's look into what's happening, right? Super, super, super small market cap. I'm not interested. I can pump this price myself. Super low volume, too many tokens. Chart looks beat, right? Whoever's in this probably hates their life. I'm not interested in this one right off the bat. You've been around since 2018, but this is what your chart looks like. Either the team is not performing, they're not doing anything, or this is just a shitty coin. So right off the bat, I'm not interested in this one. We'll look at Kadena, because Kadena is a good one. All right, so Kadena. So we got into Kadena, what was it? I got in 50 cents, right? Called it out 50 cents, but this coin is freaking amazing. So right off the bat, market cap is a little high, so I don't want to get into this coin right now, right? I got into it earlier. I don't see a point of getting into it now. Unless we head into a bear market, then I'll accumulate. Supply is pretty good, right? If a coin has a crazy amount of supply, like in the trillions, whatever, I like to look away. There's no point in trying to get into a coin with a crazy amount of circulating supply. So we have the token. Chart looks pretty bullish, right? If you got into it early. And if you didn't, that's perfectly fine. Like if you got into it like $9, you're still pretty much in the money. But I don't like to get into a coin once it already did like a crazy 45x. 30-cent Kadena Club Red, Rob. Yeah, you guys got into it early. Hey, 50 cents is still fine, I was a little bit stressed out to get into it 50 cents, but now looking back, I'm like, wow. Like, that is the best thing I could have ever done. All right, so I like to look at the website. If their website looks like shit, usually I just move on, right? Because if this is a blockchain project made by actual developers and they can't make a single working website that's not working, then you guys are not serious about your project. That's just the way it is. So Kadena overall looks amazing. Build a future on Kadena. So we're gonna look into what they do, right? So there's 5,000 gazillion projects out there, but you have to fully understand what is this project going to be used for, right? What problem is it solving? And what plans do they have in the future? So for Kadena, right, smart contracts, literally free transactions, pretty efficient, scalable, and security. Partners. Right, so that now you're looking into, okay, what are they doing, right? What are they doing? I personally didn't like to look at the white papers, but I started doing it because it gives me a whole better idea. If you are a coder or programmer or whatever, you should have a general idea about what blockchain is. If you don't, then I highly recommend to try to understand what is blockchain, right? What are the layers, right? What do all these layers do? What are dApps? What are DAOs, et cetera, et cetera? Just learn about everything, the different protocols. Learn about all of those because it's going to make you a lot better if you're looking into the token. So this one's already kind of established, right? So if you want to really understand what it does, you got to look into the white paper. You can get a good idea from the website, but everything is here pretty much. The white paper is pretty much your guide on what is this coin, what does it do, how does it accomplish it. It's pretty much what it does. So we're not going to look into the white paper for too much, but look into this, understand what this project is good for. Now we're going to look into, okay, well, we got this Kadena project. Who are the backers, right? So we'll look into Kadena. Right, they got pretty nice list of backers here. So there are good backers and bad backers here, but you want to see backers. If a project doesn't have any backers, I'm looking away. Sometimes I'll take the risk if it's a super new project and they have the ability to still get investors, right? Then I will keep it in mind. But for me to be comfortable investing, I want to see that smart money is investing into this project as well, right? Because these guys are smart. They have teams that do crazy research into these projects. So why would they put their money or their people's money into a shit project? Then I like to look at the team. Okay, who's in charge of it, right? Who's in charge of this project? What do they do, right? So if they have some good work experience, they've done things in the blockchain world, it's usually a plus, right? So I like to make sure that I can see their team. And most importantly, if they put their information on here, especially their LinkedIn, et cetera, then okay, we're not going to log in. And if this was a rug, then they would be basically screwing themselves, essentially, for having their picture and their life and their information on the website or project. All right, what else do I look into? No roadmap, right? So let's look at Kadena's roadmap. So when I look into a project, I want to see that they have a roadmap. Roadmap is pretty much their plans for the future. If they don't have any roadmap or any plans for the future, then I'm looking away because more than likely it's just a money grab, right? You want to see that they're going to be in the space for a while. They have big plans coming up. So what are their next plans? Well, bridge proofs for Chain Web 2.4, right? You see that they have a lot of things scheduled, right? Every month, for the most part, they have something scheduled. Hello, DAO. Pretty big. First ever NFT project. So this is pretty big, right? You can see they have some big things coming up, right? And you can see in process, design phase, ongoing, et cetera, et cetera. So they're doing things, right? The even marketing, right? They have a roadmap for marketing, right? These are what they're doing. They're going to redo their website, et cetera, et cetera. So this is good to see. This makes me feel comfortable holding this coin and or investing in this coin. Overall, if you're not a short-term trader, you can DCA through the dips, right? If this thing keeps going down, it's one of the best projects out there. Let's see what else. So we got the team. VCs, supply is pretty good. Market cap is a little bit on the high side. Another thing that I like to do is looking into the token unlock. So because Kadena has been around since 2018, I don't think they have any unlocks. So let's look at Kadena here. We'll click on ICO, right? So this was in 2019. They have a 1-year lockup that ends in 2020. So that's already done. No lockup. These don't have lockup. So that's what we like to see, right? They're not going to be dumping the price, but they've been around for a while, so all their coins pretty much got unlocked. So I like to look at that just in case anything crazy happens with the coin. Let's see. I think that's pretty much it. And then once I get the project, right, I understand what it does. It has good backers, etc., then we look into the chart and try to get a good entry on it. So I was hoping for a breakout retest here or just here, but that didn't happen. So at retest right here was a good area. So I'm interested in Kadena down here, $8 and lower. That would be a good area, but overall it looks good. Kadena looks pretty bullish, but Bitcoin's bringing it down, essentially. So then I would look into a good entry. Where are the regions where I'm going to buy? Where are the regions where I'm going to take profits? And or if you're a long-term investor, just buy the dips and hold. Let's see. Your exit / profit-taking strategies. So entry strategy. Want to see some bullish pattern that's or any breakout essentially from a trend line, from a bounce from support, right? Higher lows. I want to see some sort of either the price goes down to a nice support zone and or it breaks out of a pattern, right? So once I get into it, depending on if it's leverage or spot. So let's look at Bico real quick. This was pretty much the perfect example. And I didn't take it. Big sad. So when I get into a trade, right, inverse head and shoulders, retest, I would enter my trade here. So I can leverage trade Bico on Bybit, but I would buy spot at that point, right? Because I'm not interested in a coin that keeps going down unless it has some sort of confirmation that it's going to go higher. So then I'd get into the coin. And yeah, I'll take profit if we pull a fib retracement, right? I'll take profits at every single fib level, right? Usually 10 to 20%, if depending on what Bitcoin's doing. Once I usually get 100%, I will take my full initial out. Then I'll move my stop loss up. For leverage, if I get into this trade right here, I'd usually have my stop loss. So for this one, I'd probably go higher leverage just because it's a newer coin. I'd probably have my stop loss down here, which is pretty big, but I'd probably go super low leverage, probably like 3x or something. So I'd have my stop loss below this previous retest here, and then take profits, right? Every fib level, then I would move my stop loss up, right? After the second take profit, I'd move my stop loss to my entry. So if it stops me out, that's perfectly fine. For spot, I'd buy, take profits. And depends on Bitcoin, really. I usually don't have a stop loss except with the riskier coins for spot. But for this one, I'd probably have a stop loss. And it'd probably be all the way down here. If I bought spot, I would have it below this previous low at $3. And then I would just ride it. This one's making me go back into this pattern it's making. All right. When do I cut my losses? Oof, that's a good question. It depends on the market conditions and what's going on with the coin. So for sushi per se, well, actually, I would never. Yeah, it depends on Bitcoin. If we're seeing something funky with Bitcoin, I'd probably cut my losses. But I haven't really had too many losses because I usually I pretty much bought like good price ranges. But if a coin, let's say, oh, actually, I know a perfect one, Filecoin. So yeah, Filecoin chose death. So this chart literally gave me a little bit of hopium, but yeah, we can see key levels were broken. So I got in up here, right? Because I was expecting a breakout. If we look into the area it's in, it's a pretty good kind of support zone. I was expecting a breakout here, and I got stopped out of this one. I just cut my losses, and then I bought back down here, and then it's doing the same thing. So this one, unfortunate shit happens. This coin is just not. It's not it. It's just not it. So I would cut my losses if, like you can see here, this previous low support zone got rejected. Got completely rejected. Broke right through it. I got stopped out completely for this coin. So that's what I like to look into. If a strong kind of support is broken, then I'm out. Let's see. How do you weigh socials and tokenomics? Oh, yes. That's a good question. That's what I missed. Yeah. So let's say Kadena, right? Let's pull up Kadena on Twitter. But yeah, you want to see high engagement, right? Let's look at ADA. That's not it. Yeah, you can see they have 134,000 followers. So that's pretty good. Now we like to look at, okay, how many people are liking their things, right? We can see that they have pretty good engagement with their project. So that's really nice to see for Kadena. So socials are important. Do they have a Discord, right? Do they have a Telegram? You can see how many members are in here, right? So pretty active, 2,000 active people. I don't want to join their Discord. One sec. But socials is pretty important, right? Because a lot of these projects, especially some of the ones that, some people in my community send me out, they're like, oh my god, they have like 50,000 members, this project looks good. And then you start seeing the engagement, you're like, hold up, like these guys literally bought their followers. So you gotta be cautious of that. How do you weight the socials? But that's important. You want to see engagement, right? For the socials. So either Telegram, Twitter. Twitter's the most important, I would say, because everything is done on Twitter. But it's nice to see that they have like a Discord where community members can ask questions about the project, and they have some pretty good engagement with the members, because that gives them confidence too, right? To invest into the project. What kind of socials would turn me off? Yeah, if they have high followers, no engagement, or low followers completely, I'm not interested. But it also depends on the project, right? 'Cause there's certain projects that just came out, that are pretty new. They don't really have too many followers, but if it has good fundamentals, right? If it's solving a good problem, if it has a good team, then I would keep it in mind, right? I'll put it in my list and I'll check back with it, see what their plans are. How do you think about market cap? Yeah, so for a project, you want to see, well, for gains, right? You want to see a lower market cap. The lower the market cap, the more gains you're going to be able to do or to get from the coin. But there's also such thing as too low of a market cap, right? If the coin, just like the one I just saw before, AI Link, right? Its market cap is 200K. This is super low. I mean, especially for a project that's been around this long, super low. So there's only 200K into this project. So if, let's say, I share this project will pump. So I don't like these super low market caps, and I don't like super high market caps. I mean, if we look into the top coins, right? Like Solana, for example, 52 billion market cap. That's high, right? The probabilities of this pulling like 100x by next year, slim, right? Slim to none. But if it's, less than 1 bill, I mean, it can still do some nice X's, but these guys up here, very limited, right, on how many X's they can do, especially these guys up here. Let's see. Oh man, Doge flipped Shiba again. That's crazy. All right, but that was pretty much, I think I've answered every single one. Do you guys have any questions?
One
trade-
number go up.
When moon? Moon tomorrow.
Yes.
Lambo when? Do you tend to trade seasons, or do you focus on specific coins? You want to see the next narrative. Whatever is the narrative currently, I like to focus on that. I did miss out a little bit on the gaming stuff, but it depends really, because the big thing about this cycle is that it's so strange, right? Like in the past, right, we got we got Bitcoin, then we got Ethereum, then we got the large caps, and then we got alt season. But it's just different now. You just got random coins that are just popping off for no reason. Like, it's the weirdest thing. So if you look into crypto, like Gala's up 5% today, but the rest are down like, some are even down 11%. It's just very strange, but I like to focus on the coins that have been getting hyped. So Luna, AVAX, Solana, those coins I like to kind of keep a close eye on, just because that's what people know, right? Matic, those I'll trade because they're safer, right? Some of these other coins, they're probably going to go down with Bitcoin, but some of these just bounce really nicely. That also depends what they have in their plans, right? And I like to look at this too. Coins, no, coin stats. Coin market cap. Would the Shib Ask Me Anything have impact on Shib? I don't know. Probably, but I don't really like Shiba. I don't like Shiba, but I respect anybody who made money off of it. Let's look at Shiba actually. It's and that's the chart looks kind of funky. Let's see. So I like to look at CoinMarketCal. See what kind of events are happening. So you can kind of look through some of your favorite coins in here. Sometimes you can see what's happening, right? What big things are happening in the ecosystem. This is not what we want. Top 100 coins. All right, you can see Harmony 1, Ethereum Bridge coming up. Oh, I love Harmony 1, by the way. Atom will have interchange staking, which is huge, right? Sandbox, they have their GameMaker 1.0 release, their DAO launch, right? So look into new events. Usually when certain things are happening in the ecosystem, the price will pump. That's just what it is. And look at this. Someone asked about Theta. Smart contract developer platform is going to be up. When is this? December 31st, so in 2 days. So keep your eyes out on events. Mm, some noobs might not realize that the coins they love are highly tied to Bitcoin. They may even think it trades independently, maybe focus on what's going on. Oh, okay. So I'll review Bitcoin and then ETH. So yeah, overall, if you guys don't know this, right? I don't know how experienced everybody is, but everything moves with Bitcoin, right? Bitcoin takes a dump, so will most coins. There are only a very, very few that might not be um, as affected as others. Some coins will be more affected by Bitcoin drops. So what I like to do is focus on the coins that are the most like resistant to Bitcoin drops. So if I look at my list right now, I can see that Bico, just for today, right? Just for today, right? Near Bico, Gala, some of the 3 coins that pretty much are resistant to Bitcoin, right? They got higher lows, right? So these I would like to usually scalp. I would scalp these coins. Look at that, near perfect retest. Beautiful. But let's look at Bitcoin. I'll kind of share my thoughts on what I think is happening. So Bitcoin, right? Once we broke below this level, is kind of we're kind of fucked, right? So we can kind of we had this nice little wedge that we broke out of. Let me just do it like this, actually. All right, broke out of here, retested down here, and you can see the same level that we've been fighting, and this brings us all the way back here, right? 1 rejection, 2 rejection. Usually everything works in 3s. Could be a stop loss hunt to mess with people who had stop losses up here. But 3rd rejection, hard rejection. So right now I'm looking into Bitcoin to see where it's gonna end up in. So if we don't bounce here, more than likely we're gonna come back down here. And that's what I'm currently expecting for Bitcoin. Nothing about this chart looks bullish at the moment. We are keeping support, right, which is important, but I really wanted us to break this zone here. Breakout, retest, continuation, and then flip this level and then all-time high easily. But the fact that we didn't break this level is pretty important. So right now I'm just keeping a close eye on it to see where it's going to end up in. And no one knows where it's going to end up in. Anybody who says they know exactly where it's going to go, what date, anything like that, they're full of shit. That's just the way it rolls. So I have plan A and plan B, right? Plan A here. Actually, I'd say I have 3 plans. A, we come back, break up, retest, continuation up, deploy most of my USDT at the retest. If we bounce from here, I don't really care too much about it. If we break here, I'll DCA into some coins. So that is my current plan. Plan A, plan B, plan C. And there's always a plan D, as we just flash crash. And I'll still deploy capital. So this is the most important zone, I'd say, for Bitcoin. The must not break zone right here. If we do break below, I mean, I can see us coming back down to the 30s, even the 20s. All right, I don't want to be too bearish, but it's always a possibility. So that's currently what I'm doing. I'm just watching and seeing what it ends up doing. But everybody should be excited if we come back down here, because that just means we're going to have super nice discounts. For ETH, yeah, so this one I kind of spoke about yesterday. Oh, not here, but we had a nice little rejection, this trend line all the way from July, right? Respected, fake out, clean rejection. So next zone to keep was down here. Yeah, if we don't bounce here, at least try to retest. We can see us coming back down here. So that's currently for ETH. But I'm not too bullish at the moment. Like, key level for me to be bullish was to flip this zone. That's it. But we haven't flipped it, so I'm not bullish on anything at the moment. Let's see. You searching for news? You trading for news? Trade the news. Wait, how do you split your portfolio between trading money and bag holding? So this is usually how my portfolio works. I'll make a nice ugly chart. So 10% of my portfolio is always in leverage, right? Futures. Then it really depends. I usually put in 5% into some microcaps. And the majority of this is either coins or USDT. And it doesn't matter if it's short term or long term. Once I have a coin and I've already doubled my investment, taken my initial out, it is my moon bag. So I don't even consider that in my portfolio. I just leave it there and ignore it. But right now I am, say, probably 85% USDT. See if I did my math right. Yeah, I did my math right. So I'm mostly USDT. I've been mostly USDT after we broke down below here. I've taken profits in this region right here. And yeah, after we had this this rejection here, I pulled out most of my funds. I did deploy a little bit of capital here, but nothing crazy at the moment. Because we don't even have confluence at the moment to see that we're going to go higher. All right, does anybody have any questions? I think it's been an hour.
Yeah, it's been an hour, Athena.
Okay.
Thank
and
you
also
for your
EMAs.
presentation.
Oh, no problem.
Yeah, but if there's anything that you'd like to touch up on, please feel free to. There's not like a hard limit on the time, but I just wanted to respect your time also.
I mean, does anybody have any questions? If somebody has questions, usually I like the questions.
I do have a question, and this is usually unique to everybody, but you know, how do you psychologically handle the market? And you know, sometimes we talk about FUD, or we talk about, you know, how we psych ourselves out of things. Are there any strategies that you use to strengthen your resolve, or to perhaps ensure that you're open-minded when you might be blinded to some facts?
Wait, okay.
You know,
So
when
how
the
do
hopium
you...
kicks in at the top, or when you
Oh,
feel like it's a
yeah.
top and you want to short, but everyone's so bullish around you, and you know everybody's making so much money, and you know it's just hard to go and follow your instinct. Do you have any psychological strategies or any insights into that?
Yeah, so that's probably one of the hardest things to trading is your emotions. Um, Even though at this point I'd say I'm okay, right, with my emotions, sometimes people still fud me the fuck out, and I hate it. Um, we're not perfect, right? At this point, like if I look into the market, if I'm doing a trade, I'm pretty confident with it. I have to be if I'm putting, my hard-earned money in it. But there's certain instances where I slip up and like people get in my head and they're like, no, this is gonna happen, this is gonna happen. And it's like if it's too many people, I'm like, I start rethinking my whole strategy, right? I'm like, wait a minute. I'm seeing bearish signals, right? I'm gonna get into the short. Then other people, they start fudding you out. I still slip up. I'm not perfect, but I just started to completely ignore what anybody else said. I don't care what you think. Um, I mean, I respect your opinion, right? That's what you think, but I'm sticking with my plan, and that's one of the most important things: is stick with your plan, right? I had confluence to short 69K. I shorted, I got out because I got fudded out, and I fudded out right here. right here when we started like jumping back. If I would have kept it, I mean, I would have been, yeah, and that was like 100x short. I would have been good, but you got to trust yourself. You got to trust your gut. There's a really good book. Let's see. Let me give you, or anybody who's interested, but emotional trading. Yeah, this one right here. This one's a really good book.
Are you pointing to something right now, Athena?
I just posted it in the chat.
Oh, okay.
But this one right here. This one's a really, really good book. But yeah,
The
emotions
mental
suck,
game
man.
of trading.
And that's the same shit that happened down here. You remember that? Oh, we're going to 20K. Yeah. So I would say it's a learning thing, right? You live and you learn. You gotta just stick with your gut, stick with your plan. But some of the indications I had getting into the trade. All right, of course, we had bearish divergence. If we look into Bitcoin, all right, bearish divergence here, right on the RSI. At that point, if we look into the fear and greed index, we're at extreme fear or extreme greed. So usually when I look into it, and kind of just makes sense to take profits and or try to look for position as short. And I didn't expect it to last or to go down this far, especially with this crazy wick down. But and also we had a MACD cross here, so I had a little bit of indication that we're going to go lower, right? And then we failed to break here. All right, failed to break out, and this would have been another short position here. But yeah, things happen. We get fudded out. That's the game of life. Now, what do you see as the next trend? Any thoughts of that now? CFI, I think. I think CFI is going to be pretty big. So are you saying the bull market is over? I am unbiased at the moment. I would say I am leaning more bearish, but I don't like to make any assumptions. I look at the chart and just let it literally give me confirmation. So either up or down. Right now, because we didn't break through here, I am slightly bearish, right? But if we break above, I'll be bullish. But I'm not saying it's the bull market is done or anything like that. I don't have a crystal ball. If I did, I would be retired in Hawaii somewhere. I don't think it's over, but I think we're gonna come down here. That's what I think. But as we know, we're not, not everybody's right all the time. Where can I find more news about coin projects? The website I put in right here, CoinMarketCap or CoinMarketCal. This one is where you're going to see some news. What you can also do is follow your favorite projects on Twitter, because a lot of times they post stuff there. We're still in a bull market. I mean, I don't know, man. I don't know. I mean, we're still there. Yeah. I mean, if we break below here, then I would say, yeah, we're done for. But I would love this right here. I would love it. Absolutely love it. But mostly because I'm mostly USDT anyway. But yeah, it would suck for others for sure. Cycles are extending, then everything's proportionally bullish. I ask your FIB settings. Yep. I mean, they're the same. The only thing I have is the 6/6 here. Learned that from Yant Lee, the GOAT. Thanks, boss. Yeah, so most of the shit I learned are from the people in this group. Just saying. So you guys are goats.
Hey, Athena, do you still use the shark fin, or you found something better?
I'm gonna be honest, right? So beforehand, I used to use indicators a lot, but I haven't used indicators too much. It's weird because I was like super
Why is that?
into the TDI, like that was my shit. But honestly, now I base most of my trades just on price action. That's it. I don't even look at indicators too much. I only use it for confluence, so I don't even look at the EMAs for like the short periods. I'll use like I'll just look over the RSI and MACD depending on where price is at, but I don't use the TDI anymore. Yeah, C5 is gonna be pretty big. Wait, Reddit's been researching this hard. Oh, that's awesome. Wait, is Reddit in here?
Yeah, got the whole crew in here
That's awesome.
today.
I know, it's crazy. The only person we're missing is like, let's see, who are we missing? Kane? Kane's
Yeah,
not
a
in here.
few
He's
of
probably
them.
asleep.
But thanks for the great presentation, Athena. We're definitely over an hour now, and unless there's something that you wanted to add in there, I think you've mentioned that you'd like to come back again.
Yeah, for sure. I'd love to come by and just hang out.
Yeah, maybe we can talk about your indicators and settings and fibs and things like that next time.
Yeah, for sure. For sure, that sounds great. But thank you guys for hanging out with me. Thank you, Skyfive, for having me. And yeah, this
Yeah,
was
you're the
awesome.
best. Yeah, thank you guys for all your questions.
Thank you guys. You guys have a good day.